What is going on, everybody out there in television land and animation land? I be Michael Hurdle, better known as the Great Akuma. How y'all doing out there in video game land and animation land? All right, let me see if I can adjust this mic real quick. There we go. Thank you for watching the show. First of all, I'd like to thank Brooklyn Free Speech Television for putting me on their network. And of course, Brooklyn Free Speech Television, you're very welcome for me giving you such excellent content. All right, so enough with the BSing. If you remember from the last show that I've done, I was showing you how to build an arcade cabinet, and the arcade cabinet that I was building in this 3D program, I was for a personal project for myself. Now, if you saw from the last episode, I was having a little trouble with UV texture mapping and actually building with UV texture mapping. I can tell you one thing for sure that I've learned. Like I said, I'm a student when it comes to this program and when it comes to most of these programs, because the reason why I call myself a student is because when I was doing video production, in my earlier days, I was only a Mac person, so I was using Final Cut Pro. I was using all types of Adobe products, and a lot of Adobe products actually work on a Mac, but you got to go through hoops and ladders to make that thing work. You got to pay a lot of money for it to work. It's just too much. So I merged over to PC, and when I merged over to PC, they had all the same programs that Mac had. And the only thing about it is it was easier for me to get. It was easier for me to use. And then the only thing about it is I had to relearn all these programs all over again when it comes to PC. So that's why I'm a student. I'm somewhat a student, but kind of not a student. But I consider myself a student because I'm not where I would like to be. So let's talk about this 3D program real quick. It's this program right here above you is called Autodesk Maya. I'm using version 2014 if I'm correct. You can always download this from Autodesk.com. They give you a trial version that lasts for 1 month, and you has all the features that you need to play around with to get it started. So I would highly recommend going to Autodesk.com and downloading Autodesk Maya. And I think they have version 2015 or 2016. I'm not too sure. So as you can see on the screen right here. This is what I would like to call the coin slot. The coin slot is where the quarters go into. Now, I know back in the day when I was growing up, it was a different world. We used to have to line our quarters up on top of the arcade cabinet, and all the quarters looked the same, but you knew if it was 10 quarters, you knew that you were quarter number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever. You know what I mean? And you better not let nobody skip you, boy. It'd be a damn near bar brawl in there. You know what I mean? So, all right. So the other day I was showing you how I actually learned how to do UV texturing, and I'm getting better because now as you can see right here on the screen is a perfect example of a better UV texture about a week later. So this program's learning curve is very serious, but once you learn it, you can almost, if you master this program, I can almost guarantee you can write your own paycheck. If you master this program, and to say master this program is a big thing to say, because this program has so many things. It has an animation menu, it has a polygon menu, it has a surface dynamics, it has a rendering, it has end dynamics, if I'm correct, and you have your own custom stuff you can put up there. And that's just we're not even talking about NURB surfaces, we're not even talking about polygon surfaces, we're not even talking about mental ray rendering versus standard rendering or vector rendering. Too much stuff going on here right now. So let's start from the beginning. So I was making an arcade cabinet for this project that I'm working on. I'm working on a small animation for my own personal use. And I just happened to throw, let me see if I can find it real quick so we can see what we're talking about here. Let me see if this is, yeah, this is it right here. Oops, let me just minimize that. Got to be able to see better when I'm using this program, so forgive me. Too many windows open here. I got a dual monitor setup. So the monitor that we're looking at right here has all just stuff that I need to record, and then the other monitor has everything. So you should see the menu. There's so many things on that screen. Thank goodness I have a dual monitor setup. So this is the arcade cabinet that I was working on last week. Now, as you can see right here, Ryu is right here. I went online and I found some fan-drawn artwork online where you see this young lady to the right of your screen. I forgot her name. I think her name is Sakura. And she right now, she's lifting up her bra. And, no, she's lifting up her shirt to reveal her bra. and it has Ryu throwing a fireball to the other tit. Oh my goodness, amazing, right? That's fan made art. And then you have Chung. I mean, that's not Chung Li. This is Mai. Everybody gets her confused with Chung Li because at first I thought she was Chung Li too, but that ain't Chung Li. That's Mai from Fatal Fury and I think King of Fighters. So and of course the fan who drew this artwork, of course, blew her tits. I mean, not blew, blurred out her little boobies, so you know it won't be offensive to anyone. But I said to myself, let me go into Photoshop and put that together. Now, is this the right one? No, it is not. What? I'm all over the place right now. Oh, this is a different project I'm working on. Please forgive me. And this is another project I'm working on as well. Let's see if I can find the one that I'm looking for that's related to this one. Because I had a little bit of problem with finding these files. Because sometimes when you knee deep in work and you creating stuff, you don't want to take away from your creativity by learning. That's why I always say it's very important for you to learn the applications and the programs now. Oh, sorry, let me just make sure I'm recording because right now I don't see no time here. Oh, okay, I was looking at the wrong screen. My fault. I got 6 minutes in, so I got to make sure because Brooklyn Free Speech Television, I love you guys, but you'll cut people off in a snap. All right, so let's get back to this program right here. Right now I'm in Photoshop. Now I'm gonna zoom in. And here is the artwork of Ryu and Sakura and Mai. Now, if you look at it, these are all individual layers that I put together, you know? So it's not really, and that's mad. Like, oh, that was embarrassing for me to even show that, but nobody cares because nobody gonna see it. So look at the arcade cabinet. You don't see that mistake there. You see, one thing I like about the UV texturing, like I told you in the last episode, is that you can take these textures and you can go into Photoshop or your photo editor. It does not necessarily have to be Photoshop. And you can lay out your foundation. Here's what I did. I went into Maya and I created a shell. I call it a UV shell. When you go into Maya, you can also too create a UV shell. I'm gonna just get rid of all these layers so we can see what my shell looks like. And this is how complicated it can be. Now let's see. Now if you look at it right here on the screen, I've placed a black background. I've placed a black background so I can see the shell. Because if you look at the shell, these little polygon outline of the arcade cabinet, like I said before in the last episode, you see the side of the arcade cabinet. I'm sorry, that's just me moving around in Photoshop. You see the side of the arcade cabinets, and what I did here is that let me just reduce the transparency of that so you can see through it. The reason why it's so important for me to put this UV texture map graph is that when you go into your program and you go into the UV texture editor, let me just get into there real quick. Panels, save layouts or save panel. I see a save layouts. Perspective mode / UV texture editor. I'm sorry. Let me just get rid of this film resolution gate for a minute, and we don't want that real quick. So I'm right here now. I gotta say, for me to put this together was not easy, but it looks beautiful when you look at it. And what I like about these programs is that you can customize what it is particularly you want. Like I went into Photoshop, and you see where it says, you see where Akuma says die 1,000 deaths. I just simply went into Photoshop. Let me just turn this layer back on if I can find it real quick. Where are you? Is this it? You know what? That's it. That's why it's so important to name your layers. That's why I messed up. I was so much in a rush to just get it together that I didn't even bother naming the layers. So let me just turn it back on. There we go, right here. And this Akuma should be here too as well. Now this was last week's episode. I'm just showing you how that is. Because now when you look at this final arcade cabinet, it looks great from back to front. I put a wood surface on the top and back of this arcade cabinet, so it can give you that kind of like woodsy finish, like I said before. And of course, Akuma, Gookie. What I did here, I put. Now see, this is where I kind of messed up at because, like I said, I'm a student still. This is the coin slot. Oh, sorry. What was that? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. That was my email giving me a notification. See, if you focus right here, let me just move this coin slide. Now, see, the reason why I put it like this is because the scene that I'm doing, I'm not really going to go too in depth, so I can just put this here without having to build the entire coin slot where you have to put the quarter in, it goes down, it triggers something off, it goes, it registers, whatever, it drops into the little bucket. Unless you're actually doing an animation where you have to visually see that, then you may have to painstakingly put that together. But for something like this, nobody's going to know, because this is not really based off of the coin slot, really. This is the animation that I'm going to be doing is going to be mostly here on this screen. Now, I'm learning right now that on this face in the front here, that's supposed to be the screen, you can take a sequence of images. Hypothetically, let's just say I go into Adobe Premiere and I take me playing my Xbox or me playing a video game. I can record that with my recorder or my capture card, record the gameplay footage, then go into Adobe Premiere and render out the whole entire sequence, maybe about 3 minutes long, probably tops, so probably 2 minutes long, and render it out in an image sequence. Now, one thing about Maya is that you can go into Maya and you can import an image sequence and drop it directly on a face, and then when you play it in the timeline, whatever sequence, it could be a 300, 500 frame, 1000 frame, whatever you want, and when you play it, it will actually play the sequential, as long as you name it properly, it'll play the sequential export of the images that you've exported in Adobe Premiere. I know it may sound like Chinese arithmetic to some of you, but it's very important for those of you out there who want to do animation, film, and stuff like that, who is a student like me too. Because like I said, I'm very determined. Give me 1 minute. Let me look at my time. All right, I'm about 12 minutes in. That's going to make sure good. So this is good. I like this. This is one of the arcade cabinets that I'm working on. Now, here's the situation with this. The other day, I put this arcade cabinet up on my Facebook page, facebook.com/Michael C. Hurdle, Hurdle. That's my Facebook. Friend me, say hi to me, or you can go to facebook.com/Michael Hurdle Studio. But I messed that up. I forgot one of the characters, so even if you type it in, it won't even freaking work. Just go to michaelhurdle.com. So anyway, I put this on my Facebook page. Someone said, hey, wow, I really like this arcade cabinet. You know, somebody who's my friend on Facebook. They have their own, because, you know, if you know me, I'm in the video game scene, in the community, and the circuit is awesome. Like I said, I love the video game circuit, and I'm a grown-ass man, and I still love it, because you don't have to be 7 years old to play video games, because those prices at Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 and all them other high-tech systems, they ain't kiddie money. You paying like about $500-$600 with a game and a controller, so ain't really meant for no children, all right? So they saw the arcade cabinet online, and they said, wow, is it possible for you to do a small intro for me? Almost like I did with my friend Abu Valor with his Turntable City. Something like that. But he wants me to he told me what kind of arcade cabinet he wants me to build. And when I build the arcade cabinet, the best thing I like about it, he gave me the freedom to free flow on it. One thing about me, I'm good at following instructions as long as you know what you want to give me and what you request. All right, don't change your mind every 5 minutes, because you're gonna throw both of us off. But if you are one of those people that change your mind every 5 minutes, don't worry, give me the creative control and I'll make it happen for you. Because one thing about me, I'm particular. I gotta have a certain look. I'm the kind of person that I'll erase things like 50 times until I get it the way I want, because I won't feel right. So let me just open up a new scene. We don't want to save that. I was just showing you as an example. So this is the scene that I'm working on for one of my friends on Facebook. The name of his show is called Free to Play. It's like a little video game segment. And I, you know, of course, me, you know, I'm support all the video gamers, because that's how we roll, son. So here's the first arcade cabinet that I designed for him. It's pretty much a regular arcade cabinet, no details, no nothing, no beveled edges. Everything is hard. Everything is just it has the default Lambert material on it. I like to leave it as a default Lambert material and then add some material later. I realize that when you make an arcade cabinet like this and you want to add textures later, the first thing you should do is model this piece, or model this piece of geometry as what you want it. Put it like this, for me to say it in a way where I won't confuse anybody or confuse myself. When you model anything, you better model it according to what you know. That's why I would say, I mean, what you want, because you can go ahead and you can model it and model it really crappy, but then when you get to the texturing level, your model would have been so jacked up that you could not have put the texture on it, or if you do a UV map on it, it's going to be all jacked up. So I would definitely recommend, when you polygon model, check your polygons, check your edges, check your curves, check your faces, make sure you have a bunch of quads. I mean, make sure you have a bunch of squares, make sure you don't have anything mixed match, because it's just, especially if you want to make some money off of this, because let's just say you get really good at modeling and you designed anything. Let's just say you went online, got blueprints for a car. You can download the blueprints for the car, go into this program, model it with all the tools they have available, and once you model that car, it may take you about 3-4 weeks, but you know, you get well into detail, you put nice paint on it, you light it properly, you get all the textures and everything you need, and then you get, let's say you get a brand new 2016, you know, Lexus, right? And it's the new model that's coming out. You can go into the 3D program, you can model this car or boat or helicopter, whatever the case may be, and there's tons of websites out there that will allow you to take that very same model and sell it to people. You upload your model to the website, there's tons of them, and then when the person purchased your model for whatever price, some people have it upwards of $500, and I've seen their models. It was worth it, because if you want to make a movie, you want to do a commercial, a simulation, you don't have time to sit there and model this model for 3 weeks. You have a deadline. So the person who had a lot of time on their hands, they can model it for you. You purchase it later. But my point is that when this person purchases this model, a helicopter, a jet, a boat, whatever the hell they're building, these people paid money for this. So you got to make sure that you model that model properly. You got to scan it properly. You got to check your polygon count. I know it's a little crazy. But yeah, that's how we roll. All right, so that's the first generation. Let me see how much minutes I got. I got 16 minutes. I got some time. Hang out with me. Oh my goodness. Shout out to my grandmother and my mother and Vanessa and Naomi. I love you guys. That's my sisters. Look, you know what? I'd have shot you guys out like 16 minutes ago, but I was trying to get knee deep into this. I just got home from work and I am tired. To you guys, it's Saturday morning at 10:30, but to me it's Monday afternoon after work, because these shows are pre-recorded. I'm not recording these shows on the Saturday. I wish I was, but you got to hand it into Brooklyn Free Speech Television ahead of time. Props to Brooklyn Free Speech Television, because they're making it happen. I remember when they used to be BCAT. I remember the place used to be run down and bummy. Nobody cared. The building looked like it. Now they got a renovation. They taking care of business. Yo, they turned into a huge network, and I'm glad I'm a part of that network, and they ain't kicked me out yet because I was doing so many repeats. So that was just the first. What I like to do is I like to see how it says arcade cabinet design 1, 2, 3, and so forth. Every time I do a major change inside of this program, I like to just save it as number 1, number 2, or the dates, or whatever the case may be. So did I do anything special here? Nothing special here, but once upon a time I was working in Final Cut Pro for Apple, and I did not know anything about saving. I didn't know anything about really saving as you go along. I worked on a project for about 2 hours, no saving. I didn't even care to save it. Worked on a project for 2 hours. Next minute, Adobe Premiere crashed on me. Bam! That was on a Mac. They told me Macs don't crash, but they was wrong. It crashed on me, and probably because I was using the bootleg version. That's probably why. But it crashed on me, and I lost everything. But I realized that I was so lucky that in the backup folder, when you go into your settings, it has an incremental backup every 5-10 minutes, however you set it. By default, I think it was set to 10 minutes. So I didn't lose 2 hours worth of work. I lost about 10 to 15 minutes worth of work, which is better than 2 hours worth of work, because when the client is paying you for this project, time is at a factor. Time is very important, because if you cannot deliver, ain't nobody gonna call you afterwards. Okay, so look at this right here. So this is the final arcade cabinet that I put together for the guy on my Facebook page, one of my good friends from Facebook. Let me just go into this panels real quick and go into the save layout. I just want to show you something, because I ain't gonna front. I got really nice in this UV texture mapping, and I'm actually proud of myself. And I don't care if nobody cares. I care, because for me to sit here and do all this is real. You know, I don't hang out. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not dating anybody. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just a nerd. People say, oh, you need to hang out. You need to live life. I'm living life right now, because I'm gonna tell you one thing for sure. When you don't got no money, ain't nobody want to hear what you have to say. But if you got a lot of money, then all of a sudden now everybody want to hear what you have to say, because you got money. Unfortunately, this planet is designed where if you don't got that status and that money, that was an email. Let me just double check. Okay, that was just an email. I got my email notification up because I'm all about business. I make sure you might send me an email because people complain before I didn't get it. They send me emails, I don't get it. But, you know, I forgot where I was going with this. Sorry. So if you look at my UV texture layout, let me get rid of this grid real quick because this grid is kind of annoying. So when you look at it, if you go back into Photoshop now, where are we? Where are we? Here we go. Got too many windows up. Like, what is this? Man, I have so many files all over the place. Forgive me, please. I'm not even going to save that. I don't even know what that is. But if you look right here, this is just another example of me doing the UV texture layout and getting better at it. Now, here's what I realized with the UV texture. Let me just make sure my time is right. 20 minutes in, I got about 8 minutes, so I gotta speed things up here. One thing I noticed about the UV texture is when you're, where's my program? What the hell am I bugging out right now? Okay, here we go. With the UV texture, moving and sewing is the most important because, like I said before, when you try to align all these different wood and everything, it's going to look all messed up. One thing I realized about UV texture mapping is that when you do an automatic map, it's okay for some situations, but I would not highly recommend any automatic map. You're going to have to go in there and project your own projections. You have to know about your plane, your cylindrical, planar mapping. You got to know all that kind of stuff. The key to this program is learning it, and it's not easy, and this program will separate the men from the boys, and I'm definitely ain't no boy. I'm a man, so I'm going in deep, like deep with my mouse, not my tool. So now I put together this for him. So what really kicked my ass was this part right here, because let me just zoom in so we can see what this is. Right here is the mechanism where the person, here's how the animation's supposed to go, according to his email. He wants it to be, let me just put this back where it is and then focus here so we can see what it looks like first, okay? So we have an arcade cabinet. On the screen is nothing there because I didn't put the sequential files there yet. I'll do that last. That's not important. That's easy to do. What he wants is, you see the arcade cabinet, he wants it to be this size. He said he wants it to be a 2 cabinet, 3 button configuration. Let me see. What in the bomba? Excuse me. Let me just sort this out real quick. Apparently, I guess I moved my mesh, and the arcade buttons and stuff went inside. So I just gotta make sure. Let me just zoom in real quick and make sure it's not too deep and not too. There we go. That's good enough for me. I'm happy with that. I'm about 22 minutes in. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could spend more time with you. Brooklyn Free Speech Television only gives me 30 minutes. You know. So if you want to see more of me, go to michaelhurdle.com or saltygamers.com or facebook.com/michaelchurdle, and you can see my handsome face all the time. So right now, yeah, like I said before, he wants a standard 3-button configuration. What is that thing? Yeah, here we go. Zoom into that. He wants a standard 3-button configuration. And, you know, of course, 2 players, and he wants the, he already gave me the information to put on his screen. I already have it saved as a file. But what really kicked my butt was creating this right here. Because in the animation, he wants it where, let me just click away from this real quick. Here we go. In the animation, he wants it to zoom in like right here. Let me just put this down. Okay. If you look at the screen, of course, back in the days, video games used to be 25 cents. No, they are not. I tell you, boy, I feel like I got worse since I'm 40 years old right now. I don't even care anymore. And because I'll tell you, and when I was like about 11, 12, the world was different. There was payphones for a dime, 10 cents back then. If you don't believe me, boy, ask your mother. So let me just make sure my time is looking right. So he wants the animation to, he wants for you to, it starts off somebody putting 4 quarters into these slots. The quarters will go down into the machine, and then it'll zoom into here, and it'll show you the quarters registering on the screen. Blum, 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 blum. And then, of course, Free to Play is the name of his channel. I put that on there. But look at the cool art that I put together. And that's awesome. Right here. See, I just went online. I took, oops, let me just not mess that up. I took Mario and Luigi playing basketball. Oops, is that the right one? Yeah, I just took Mario and Luigi playing basketball. I just put Pac-Man here so he can look like he's hopping around. So mostly all this stuff is layers. I put Mario here. You remember back in the days when we used to play the Nintendo, as my grandmother would say, Altendo. Altendo and microwave, meaning microwave. That's grandma with her Trinidadian accent. Put on the microwave, boy. I'd be like, Michael wave? Me, I'm Michael, I'm waving. Oh, that was whack. So, right. So, I just simply put some of these layers here, because I'm creative. I like to have creativity. And of course, the button scheme layout. Oops, let me see what that's just the background going on there. So just like that. And when you look at all this stuff here and you save it and you look at it from flat. This is one image. That's what I like about it. This is one image with a bunch of different images on it. So what I did with the move and sew feature is that this is the top. This is going to be underneath it. So if you look at it in the program, here you have it. This is the top and this is right underneath it, and that's where everything stays. And when you technically look at it, it just really maps out where I put everything from last week's episode, as you can see. And it just covers everything, all the faces. I put the back. If you look at it, the back is here. I didn't want to get too deep into detail because I put a fake lock back here. It's just a picture of a lock. It's not a real lock. And even right here too. But what this client or friend of mine wants is the animation of quarters going in there. It registers on the screen, and then it just zooms into the screen, and then it goes into his footage. Now, you would think about it, this is about something that's about, let's say, not even 10 seconds long. But when you look at 10 seconds, you would probably spend 2, probably 3 months, depending on the complexity of the scene. You can go ahead and spend 2-3 months, or probably 2-3 weeks on 10 seconds. How many times have I done work for hours and hours? I actually went out and shot commercials, short films, a whole bunch of stuff. Took me weeks to do it. And then when you look at it on television, like Payomatic, I did one of them. That one I didn't sign a confidentiality clause for. So I shot commercial for Payomatic, and it took us 3 days to shoot this commercial because the client was real picky. Let me make sure. But then when we finally saw it on television, not even 8 seconds. So it's crazy. So you could go ahead and spend so many hours creating, and it'll just be 8 seconds on the clock. But you know what? It's all worth it. I got about 30. I got one more minute left over. See, so I didn't design the whole thing, but if you really look at this without the texture, I just put the slots here using polygon modeling. I smoothed the edges so it can have that round look, because if you look at my last scene, it had square edges, and I didn't like that, so I put the round edges back here. And I didn't really put too much care. I just extruded this, so when you look at it from this angle, you can't see through it. Like right now, you can probably see through it because it's not connected to the arcade. But when you put it back at the arcade, you're not going to see through it. And afterwards, when I design it, you're not going to really see through it anyway. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Thank you for watching the show. My name is Michael Hurdle from MichaelHurdle.com, one of the best animators that you will see in the future. Remember, go to MichaelHurdle.com, saltygamers.com, and I'll talk to you later.